If you are a new agent in 2025, listen to this. You have got to be prepared. Woo. Stay tuned for these top 3 tips, especially if you're planning to be a new agent in 2025. Top tip number 1. Make sure you know how much your startup fees are going to be. So everyone thinks that just getting licensed, I just got licensed, I just passed my test, and studying for the test is a whole nother fee, right? Like especially if you're planning for test prep packages, or you're planning to hire a tutor, whatever the case might be, just to get licensed. But after you get licensed, do you know the startup fees to getting fully started and on your own? Here are a list of some. 1, you have your brokerage fee, your monthly fee just to get started with your brokerage. And then some brokerages might even have startup fees. And you also have to get with your local real estate board. They have their own fees. And these are fees that are either quarterly or monthly. So be prepared for that. And then on top of that, if you want your own marketing, now I've seen new agents who don't really have that much extra cash. I've seen them be creative, and their creativity is amazing. I say pressure creates diamonds, right? So if you are hard against it, which again, I hope no one is, but it is 2025 and we are in a whole nother, a whole set of things, right? I say it brings out that creative mind. If you can make your own social media marketing, you have low cost. If you're doing your own handwritten mailers, all of that, it's still a fee. It still costs to all of your own marketing. Make sure you're ready for that signage as well. If you're planning to get a marketing, a sign, all of that. Don't go and leap right into getting a billboard or anything like that. Start small, just stack up your cash, and then start adding more and more to your marketing and building your brand up. I just want people to know, be prepared for those startup costs, because it can range all the way from $2,500 to $5,000 to even more, depending on what your local board charges and how much you want to go into depth with marketing, signage, your website, all of that. Number 2, oh my gosh, you don't realize how many agents I hear complain about, 1, finding leads. I think a lot of times, especially as new realtors, we are promised this dream by brokerages. Sometimes, I'm not blaming all brokerages or teams, saying, hey, I can help you get leads. Here's lead generation. Here's how you get leads. I'm going to give you all these leads, yada, yada, yada. Do not fall into the trap of paying for leads. Don't pay for lead generation. Do not pay for lead generation if you are a new agent. I cannot repeat that enough. Those lead generation costs are very expensive. And if you're a new agent and you're just starting out and you're trying to figure out what to do and you don't have a mentor or anything like that, getting involved into lead generation right out the gate with someone who's going to provide leads to you, and it's an upfront cost. Sites like Realtor.com, Zillow, or Pronto, all of these different lead generation sites might offer you, hey, we're willing to give you this zip code, but it's going to cost you this. I know it sounds tempting. I know you want to do it. Don't do it. There's lead generation that you can do right on your own. You can hit up your sphere of influence. Call all your friends, let all your family, your former coworkers, let everybody know, hey, I'm an agent, I just got licensed, and I would love to help you sell or buy your home. Send out, handwritten letters, door knock. There's so many things that you can do for free or cheaply than pay for leads, especially leads that are poor and, just not going to transact. I don't mean poor by not enough money. I mean poor as in bad quality leads. Don't do it. Okay. Tip number 3, and oh my gosh, this was one that hit me hard, right? I just left my former job. I'm getting deep and full time into real estate. How long it takes to transact, a buyer or seller. No one tells you this information up front. Well, I'm here to tell you, it can take a minute, right? Like, let's say you get a new buyer, right? You have them pre-approved, even better. Sometimes that pre-approval process, just getting them pre-approved, can take a minute too. But let's say you have a pre-approved buyer. You have a buyer, you found a list of homes that they want to see. You're out showing them homes. You think, okay, We found homes that they like. They want to put in an offer. Sometimes finding them a home that they like can take 3 or 4 times going out. If you're really good and you know exactly the ideal thing that they're looking for, and you know it, and you found them that exact house, well, let's hope that house is not a bidding war on it. And let's hope that your candidate or your client is really qualified. Because if they're not, you might have to go through multiple rounds of highest and best. Let's say you're right and it's springtime and the market's hot. You're going to have to go through multiple rounds of showings, multiple rounds of highest and best, multiple rounds of if there's a home that might not pass an inspection, right? So we're looking at a window of time of essentially 7 days if you're going out a lot of the time on those 7 days. And let's assume your buyer can only go out on the weekends. You get my drift, right? It can keep adding time and time and time. The inspection, let's say you get the home under contract. Yay for you, congrats. The inspection time, it typically takes, 3 to 5 days, depending on how quick your inspector is, or if they have inspectors within their family, it could go quicker. If there's a list of repairs that you want the seller to complete, that can take time too for those repairs to get completed. And then you have to go through the appraisal process. That's another 7 to 10 days, depending on how quick your turnaround time is with your appraisers. And then let's say the home appraises at value, which sometimes it won't. If it does appraise at value, great. Now you're looking at a window of, let's say, from start, you've been going out every day, to close, you're looking at anywhere from 45 to 60 days. And that's on the quick end. I'm just letting you all know, just in case this is something that you are diving feet first into and you're going full time, which I support, just be prepared. The transaction times can take a bit of time. So to kind of offset that, and I encourage this, have multiple buyers going at a time, have multiple sellers going at a time. If you're new to the business, it's fine. Right? It's fine to get acclimated with social skills, get back to customer service type of energy. You want to try and get clients first, try and get a host of buyers, trying to get a host of sellers. That's your first goal, right? Get that lead generation down. But do not be discouraged by how long it takes to transact. And oh my gosh, bonus tip. Do not be discouraged if the transaction falls through. That's something that a lot of people are not prepared for, especially in 2025, where people may be getting pre-approved, but things are constantly changing in this atmosphere, right? You might not always get to closing. So prepare yourself for that, one. And then also, you are a problem solver. That's who you are as an agent. That's what makes us stand out, and that's what adds our value. You want to stand out as an agent by being a problem solver and coming up with those quick solutions. If a buyer can't close due to, let's say it's a little bit of closing costs that they can't cover, what can you do to offset that? Can you reach out to the listing agent and say, hey, we're this close. Can we split the difference with the buyer and the seller? Even with yourself sometimes, if it looks like it's an absolute no-go. And again, I don't recommend for you to give up your commission, but if it's very close, or, if you have a number of transactions, or if this is something that you want to do, that's up to you to do. Same thing with listing appointments, right? Like, let's say you're very close to getting the listing, but the sellers really don't know who to hire for moving services. Maybe this is something that you step up and say, hey, I can get a list of movers for you and get quotes for you, and we can find the cheaper option that can help you offset cost, or anything. You're the problem solver. You're the go-to, and they're looking for your advice and your expertise to help make that sale happen. So you have to do it, or at least put yourself in a position where you're able to do it. I can't say it enough. These are things that were not told to me as a new agent. And I just want to let you all know, I'm your girl here, Ari the Realtor from from Detroit. But yes, if you or anyone is looking to buy or sell their home, and in Michigan particularly, reach out to me. I'm always looking for referral partners, especially for my new agents out there. And again, work with Lee if you want that key.
From downtown Buzz to places green, Ariana Lee knows what you mean. Every step she leads the way. making dreams come true to today.